Okay, so I offered to make a tutorial for LaTeX. I would highly recommend if you're writing your thesis or you're writing a journal paper, use LaTeX. I love Word, but I really regret not writing my thesis with LaTeX. So this is a tutorial on how to use the Purdue template to write your thesis in LaTeX. I am not great at LaTeX, so this may not be the best way to do it. It's just how I do it and I know it works. So let's get started. So the first step is to download LaTeX. I download MacTeX for the Mac because so this is Mac specific, but if you're using Windows, the only difference would be to download a different package. So I downloaded the MacTeX package. So essentially, this is what came with it. So this offers you different options to manage references as editors, but I'm not used to these. So what I use is Text Studio. So I will be using Text Studio so I use Text Studio. I have some stuff open up, so I will just save everything and close it so I can start from scratch. Okay, so first download MacTeX, download Text Studio, and one thing to remember is that you need to download MacTeX first and then download Text Studio. If you do it in the other order, it won't work. And the third thing that I download is the thesis template. So I just go to, you can just Google for it, it's easy to find. So just go to the College of Technology webpage and this is where I download the thesis template. So this gives me a folder which essentially is this folder, LaTeX thesis template. And then you click on it and this is everything you have inside the folder. Download MacTeX, download Text Studio, then download the thesis template folder. This is where we are. Again, two things. I'm on a Mac, might be slightly different. I'm not great at LaTeX. In fact, it might be called Latex. I'm not sure. Anyway, once you download the LaTeX thesis template, there's one small change that you need to make. So this file, when I downloaded it, it was called plot.pdf, and that's not right. I think there was an error with the template because it kept trying to search for this file and it wouldn't find it. So I just changed the name of plot.pdf to this. So when you download the folder, just change plot.pdf to this and then things will run smoothly. So when you have that, you double click on the thesis.tex file. And as you can see, by default it's opening using Text Studio, or you can right click and then do open with and do Text Studio. So I just double click this. So this is what a text file will look like. It looks like a whole bunch of code, but you don't need to know most of it. The first thing that we do is we compile it by clicking this button, and it says compiled correctly. And then we click this button to see the output. So for any tech document, this is where you edit it, this is when you compile it, this is how you build it. On a broad structure, let's just see what different elements are there. So wherever he's used use package, this is just like including the libraries needed. The document class is defining what style, and he's defined these document classes, like dissertation proposal, it's a defined document class. So it's made it much easier for us to do anything with it. Another thing is, instead of having one huge unending tech document, what he's done is he's made several tech documents for each chapter and linked to that. So if I look at include front, so this is linking to front.tech, then introduction.tech, then lit-review.tech, which is actually nice because when you're editing your thesis, if you're working on your introduction, you can just directly open introduction.tech. If you're going to a lit review, you can directly open lit review. So that's pretty good. Like, see, this is all with the introduction, and it opens by itself. So now it's an introduction.tech. So that is what these includes are. And then when you see include bibliography, again, there's a file called bibliography.tech where he's calling the references. I'll explain that in a bit. And then he's ending the document. So that's the overall picture. Now, if we want to just start typing a thesis, so let's just look at the title. All I have to do is edit it here. So let's see, instead of a dissertation proposal, let's call it thesis, blah, blah. So what happens here is I just edit it here, and then I build it, and it gets edited right here. So it's as simple as that. You edit on this side, then you build it, and you view it on this side. And he's done all the formatting for you. So all you have to do is go to the correct section and edit it. So if I want to edit my name, I just change it here. Hit build. Oh wait, sorry. I was supposed to change it here, I think. You're supposed to change it in both places. Let's try. And let me try to remove this dude. Okay, that's how I changed it. And he's given pretty good instructions. So he said that first author name is used for the cover, second author name is used for the abstract, which is why he had it twice. And I was editing the abstract one, or the cover one, something. But basically use only one author line. So that would go to the abstract. But he's given good instructions here that you can use to figure it out. Now, let me say I want to change something in the introduction. So I go down to the introduction. And whatever I change there should have changed in the abstract. So as you can see, it changed right here. So, and the thesis changed, like everything is linked. So you make changes in one place and it got changed right here. So that is awesome. Now I go to the introduction and I want to change something like, let's say here. So where am I? So I want to add something here. So I don't know. This is something new I am adding. Let me capitalize it so you can see it. See this. And then I just do build. And you can see it got included here. So again, not much formatting needed. Let's come to one of the best reasons to use LaTeX. So I go back to the tech document, and I mentioned the bibliography, right, of how it uses the bibliography. So this is where we're including the bibliography. As you can see, this is where it is. What basically happens is this calls the bibliography.txt file. Let me pull that up. So this calls bibliography.txt. And what bibliography.txt is calling all.bib. And all.bib is essentially the main bibliography file that you're editing. So let me just open all.bib. So to add any references, all I do is I edit all.bib. There are other ways of doing it, and I'll tell you about that. But for me, the easiest way is to just paste in all.bib. So let me give an example. Let's say I want to look for a paper. Let's see. Okay, I have this paper. It's called Constructing Attribute. Okay, this is the one. I want it in Google though. Let's see. So all I want to do is I want to get this paper in Google Docs. So I just I will look up the paper. Okay, so it says here cited by 15. Just click there. So it'll open in Google Scholar, not Docs, sorry, Google Scholar. And then I click here. So for every article that I need, I just try to open it in Google Scholar, and then I go to Cite. So this will give me the bibtext entry. So I just copy this and then paste it. Now, there's two things that this guy has done. Is to keep it uniform, he has arranged everything alphabetically, but you can put it in any order and it'll arrange it by itself. So you don't have to take care of what order you paste stuff in. And the second thing is, this is an auto-generated key, and this is what we use to cite. I'll just show you. So instead of using this, he's kind of kept it a little more organized by using the last name and the year. So we can change that just to continue with how nice it looks. So it's Wang 2009. Okay, there. So I will save it. This is one thing I'm not too clear about, but I'm not sure when you need to recompile and when you don't. But I feel like I made some major change. I just recompile bibliography.tech because I've made a change in all.bib and bibliography.tech calls it, so I feel like I should recompile. Sometimes I get errors when I don't. So just to be on the safe side, I recompile as much as I can, because every time something is not working and I recompile, it usually works. So now I go back to the introduction, and so all we did was we went to all.bib, we pasted this, which I got from Google Scholar, and now if I want to cite something, I go to the introduction. I don't know where, I can cite this anyway. Yeah, let me cite it right here where I was typing before. So now we, want to cite this guy. So I always need a backslash. And here I can find Wang 2009. I've cited him. And then I fill that again. And if you ever have error messages, this is where you would look for it. So let me go back to the introduction. Okay, so see, it's cited. Now we want to cite Wang, Zhang, and Gombold. It did it for you. Now you can either cite it inline like this, or you want to cite it in the other way. So all you have to do is cite P, and then it's cited differently. So it's cite and cite P, and that's pretty much all you need to use. So this is how you add references and cite it. Just copy it from Google Scholar, paste it in here. I should note one thing, that sometimes, Google Scholar may not have the year, it may not have the volume, something. So in that case, you can just come here and manually edit it. So that's one way to do it. Some people are just morbidly afraid of editing anything in text. And if that's the case, there is another thing that you can do, which is, another thing. So you saw how we added this over here, right? So if we go to the bibliography here, it should have been added. Let's hope so. Let's try. So I go to the bibliography here, and yeah, there you go. Wang, blah, blah, has been added to the bibliography. So all we did was add him to all.bib, and then we could cite him in the text. It got added to the references. All the formatting is done. Yeah, so if you absolutely do not want to paste it here, then another thing that you can do is use jabref. So jabref can open the same all.bib file, and here you can add stuff in a GUI. I don't think there's a lot of advantage to doing it in jabref. The advantage of jabref is if you have other applications, because jabref has a Firefox plugin and Chrome plugin, or I use a document management system called Docker. So Docker interfaces with jabref, so everything that I open in Docker gets added to my jabref library, which gets imported into LaTeX. So you can see how that's super useful. But if you're just adding manually, then I would just say add it to all.bib right here, just paste it from Google Scholar. That's how I do it. So that is all about references. What else? So he has included some figures, and it's really nice because, okay, so this calls the demo figures file. Let's just open demo figures so you can see what's happening there. Demofigures.tech. Okay. So the way to add figures, and he's explained it here. He's told you how you can add a figure is to write this. But the cool thing is when you add a figure, if you look at this side, so you say include graphics, and then you just type the name of the graphic. But you don't have to say anything about where to put it, how to format it. If you move something in the text, the whole thing won't go crazy like Word. So it's really cool because you just have to specify that, okay, at some point over here I want to include the graphics, but it'll move it around and center it nicely. And you can use centering. All this explains how you can edit figures. And then the next chapter explains how you can work with equations. This is kind of like HTML, where you just need to know what tags to use. And he's given you what tags to use. This is for tables with columns. This is how to demonstrate tables and sideways tables. And he's given you the code over here of how to do it, and then he's shown you the output. So all you have to do is begin quote, end quote, and then it'll look like this. Or this is how you have a list, and this is how it'll look with a description. So description item, and this is the numbered list. So this is the code that'll do it, and this is what it'll look like. He's done a good job showing that in various files. So if you just go to Thesis and you scroll down, so all this is in the appendices where he's shown you how to do it. And I think that's pretty much it. So if you go through the template and just keep editing the different sections, that will generate your fully formatted, nicely done thesis. Oh, if it wasn't obvious, then when you're adding figures, you need to save the JPEG, the PNG in the same folder, and then when you do include graphics, I don't know where that went, but yeah, basically when you do include graphics like this, it's going to look for plot.eps in your folder. So if you pull up the folder, plot.eps, yeah, so this is how you link to your figures, which is also really nice when you're writing for a journal, because they always ask you to put the figures separately. They don't let you put the figures within the Word document. So if you're doing LaTeX, that's done by itself. What else is there? And how the figures should be formatted is done by itself. How the captions should be formatted is done by itself. So you don't have to format the caption. You just have to say, caption, use this, do this, and it's basically like you just use caption. This is another figure, and it'll do it correctly because this guy has done the formatting. I think that is it. And just think of it as HTML tags that have different formats, and you don't have to really worry about all these external files because they open up by themselves. Very easy to interface. And this is it. I am not a LaTeX expert. This is really the extent of what I know how to do. But if you have any questions, you can always ask me. So I hope this helps. Thanks.